Hey, good morning. Welcome to the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. Hope you're doing well today. Well, today is typically our Wednesday where we talk about teams and HR, things you can do as leaders and what we should do as an organization. And this applies to anybody, to be honest with you, small business, big business, teams, Scrum Masters, product owners, project managers, anybody who has a leadership role, middle management, supervisors. What do you do when you get some bad apples on the team? Do you just fire them? I don't know. Let's talk about that a little bit. And we're going to talk about that today because the simple answer could be get rid of them. But is that the right answer? Right? So let's talk about that. We're going to dive in that a little bit today. It's going to be a short one. I'm not going to be able to cover everything. So if you have questions related, hey, Greg, I have a bad apple on my team. Any thoughts? I'd be happy to discuss that with you. Reach out to my team anywhere on social media. If you're a member of our Slack channel, you can probably get a hold of me directly, really easy, because I go on that Slack activity for 5 a.m. Mester Scrum all the time. So if you join our mailing list, you get free access to the Slack channel, which means you get free access to me to ask me questions pretty much anytime you like. My mentors would say, what are you doing? I don't know. Helping people, maybe. Anyway, so let's talk about that. What do you do about bad actors? What do you do about bad apples on your team? Do you just fire them? Do you just get rid of them? Do you ignore them? They have their pluses. I think ignoring them is probably your worst avenue to go to. And I'm going to admit, I have problems too. I got teams I have some bad apples in that just negative Nellies on everything on the planet Earth. And you gotta work with them a little bit. So here's some avenues you can take. Do we ignore them? Why wouldn't we ignore them? I mean, if you listen to all the people talk about making high production rates, high whatever, they if you have a person who brings down the rest of the team, it's just going to lower the standard and you're going to lower the team, and soon you have to get rid of them. But I would argue just getting rid of somebody because they had a bad day or disagree with you is not a bad apple. So you have to be careful what the difference is between a bad apple. Maybe they have a lot of stress in their lives, what's going on. And your team, what I would do is ask a little bit and says, what's going on? You seem like you're not happy or you're just stressing out or something, or you're not satisfied. Is anything I can do as a leader to help with that? Or are we doing things wrong? Do we need more? What do you need? Right? What are you looking for? Right? And having that discussion. And I've had situations where maybe I was teaching class. I know I was teaching young kids one time, and and then one student was having problems. It was bad apple. Wasn't getting stuff done and everything. And I was taking the time to really sit one-on-one with them in the class. And these other students were bothering me. And it was really cool. Some of the other students say, hey, look, Mr. Mester is trying to help student XYZ. Leave him alone, right? He's trying to help the kid out, right? And I do appreciate students who pick up on that when I am doing a little one-on-one. They do realize I try to help them out. So you need to do that as a team leader as well as a teacher. You need to help do a little one-on-one with people, and you need to take the time to address it. And you can't be doing stuff on your phone while you're having a conversation, right? You can't be, oh, let's talk about stuff and let's do things. No, that's not going to work. You need to develop those barriers so people can hear you and you can hear them and you can pay attention to what they're doing. Why do I say that? If you didn't do that and you just fired them, so other people may think, and they probably will think, that you will just let good people go if you have a disagreement, or maybe they're just not happy or they're grumbling or something, and you just fire them. You're not going to retain people too long because they're worried about if they ever have a bad day and they can't share with you they had a bad day, then they're going to leave, right? They need to feel safe and trusting that they can share with you or the team that had a bad day. Maybe they don't pick up on them first, because we all make that mistakes. We've all had those bad days where everything's going wrong and we just kind of lash out on people. Even I do that, right? My kids know that. Now, I do apologize later if something happens. Like if I have a problem, I have no problems apology and accepting it. It's part of one of the rules that I help with a what do you want to call them? Bubbles. Bubbles is already here, by the way. Our team norms. Like, how do we do team norm? What do we do? And maybe I should do a team norm episode for anywhere. I think I'll do that next time we do a team meeting. I'll do the team norms. But you want them to understand that they have safe to express, but they need to, like, bringing the whole team down is not acceptable either. But they may need to have a conversation when you explain what's going on. So sometimes you have to be the bigger person and invite them to have that conversation, right? If they say no, I say let's have this conversation because something's wrong and you're disrupting the rest of the team, and that's not a part of our team norms, right? So we need to figure this out, or I need to fix something, like, or the team needs to fix something. Is it a process? Is it something you need? You have conflicts. There's Bubbles. She's like, I want to be in the show. So she's here. Are you happy now, Bubbles? Anyway, so you need to address it because if you don't, the rest of the team's going to become low performance, right? They're not going to work as hard. They're going to wait for them to do something, or they're going to capture on that. They're not going to want to work there, and they're not going to be a member that want to be a member of the team. So you have to address it. There's times I haven't, right? And it's I kind of and working on it. And there's ways to subtly go around with everyone. To kind of without pointing fingers, you can invite them to conversations and you can do some general stuff and see if it helps. But I think combination, you got to do one-on-one, right? You got to have an offer to talk to them, see what's going on. And they may have really deep things going on that you can't fix as a team, right? But you can't keep them there. If you have those bad apples, you have to work with HR, see about moving them from the team. Even if you have to document it, people say, oh my God, document it. I worked for the government for years. You couldn't fire anybody, but if you really wanted to, all you got to do is document having the meetings, and that will satisfy the HR need. Like I had a couple of meetings, we talked about it. They're still negative in the attitude and what's coming to work, and it's showing off in front of customers. Now, if you own your business, you may not need the HR, but however, it's probably not a bad idea to have documented that you had discussions with the person if you're thinking about letting them go. If you just let them go, government, everybody's going to get on there and, they're going to file some grievance or something. But if you have documented proof that you had meetings, one-on-one meetings with them, you have a team norm agreement, part of a working agreement, all that stuff helps you out. So I wanted to share that with today because you can't just ignore bad apples. It's going to pull everything down in the organization. They're all negative about it, just like on a baseball team or sports team. Someone just keeps getting upset every time they don't hit a strike. Sooner or later, everyone on the team's going to pull the same attitude because you let that attitude progress. If you're coaching a sports team and you have players with a bad attitude, sooner or later, they just continue to have the bad attitude. Refund the money. It ain't worth it. Let some kid on the team that doesn't have the bad attitude. Trust me, there are so many kids out there that want to join these teams. Their parents will pay the money. It's true. No matter what, So you have to make a decision. You have to talk to them. Maybe if they are bad at them, we also have a conversation with the parent, and the parent has a big thing about it. HR should authorize, or your organization authorize you to return the money, right? You should have that in your business agreement if you're doing a coaching business or something like that. Some avenue from which you can decide to return the money. Trust me, because you don't want a bad write-up, right? Hey, we returned your money, right? Because you don't want a bad review for what you're doing as a business per se, because you let somebody go or get them off a sports team, and then they get a bad review, blah, blah, and it just goes bad. But if you return the money, you can say, we had a conversation. We had a disagreement about our team norms and how we act as a team. I gave you back the money. No one's going to fault you for that decision whatsoever. So the same thing goes as a manager or team leader or something like that. you have a team agreement, which we'll talk about next Wednesday. It's actually a good topic for next Wednesday. What goes into it, how they act, everyone agreed to it, right? And then you had a couple follow-ups, one-on-ones, talk about some issues. And if it keeps continuing, someone can make the call. Now, someone above you, this is the bad thing about working in big corporations. Sometimes they don't allow you to get rid of people, or they don't want to cause problems, or HR doesn't want to fix things. But you know what? Profitability is important, right? Team morale, team productivity is important. You have to spend the time because we're never I'm going to tell you right now, you're never ever going to hire 100% perfect people all the time. There will be those times when you hire someone who just does not fit the mold, right? Sooner or later, you have to have that discussion. So why not prep it? Why not have the conversation? Have the team norms, how you're supposed to operate, how you're supposed to, what the expectations are. Leila Hormozi, she's really, if you're going to listen to a podcast or videos, listen to Leila. She talks about operating agreements and having the expectation known by the employee during the onboarding process, right? Because it's important. If they know their expectations, then you know what you're expecting. Problem is, too many leaders and teams and business owners assume the expectations are known by the other person. Just like I said yesterday, I teach my kids to ask questions. Don't assume that whoever you're talking to can read your mind and know what you're doing, right? So I wanted to share that with you today. How to handle bad apples. Sooner or later, you need a base team agreement so we all know what's expected, as Leila Hermosi would say in her activities. And as I see, she's very impressive as a COO of all the companies they have. So what are the expectations? What's the team norms? You see a lot of issues, offer a one-on-one discussion, re-emphasize the team norms to everyone so it's not singling out to anyone. They can impression it's in their mind, which is maybe not a bad thing. And then have some one-on-ones, work with them a little bit, see if there's something. If not, sooner or later you have to get HR involved and either move them to another team or get them out of the company as a whole. So I wanted to share that with you because it's part of business, right? It's part of teams. Part of being a leader, sometimes you have to make a call, but you just don't want to willy-nilly do it. You just don't want to just let them go because they had one bad day, because that in itself can pull down the team just as well. So if you have any questions, you'd like, Greg, I got a bad apple, what do I do? I'm happy to talk about that with you. I offer that to people I coach. Again, I coach at the executive level, part-time coaching. If you want to give a perk to your executives and your senior staff, I coach at the team level, or in cases like this, where Scrum Masters, project managers, mid-level leaders have, they want to talk and they have teams, and what do we do? Coach them along that. And I coach individuals. How do you not become that bad apple on a team? I hear sometimes I get coachees that come in and just complain about everything. I said, well, what are you doing to fix it? Right? It's not all their fault, right? Maybe it is their fault, but then you can make a choice to go somewhere else. So I coach people to that as an individual as well. Are you dissatisfied in where you're going, right? So anyway, I want to wish you the best today. I want to wish you a happy scrumming, happy Wednesday. And again, if you have any questions or anything from a business perspective, because I also help small businesses, really starting the whole thing for small, medium-sized businesses where I'm reaching out to local businesses, because I've been in business for 30 years. What can they do? Incorporating AI into what they do, things like that. It's all stuff I do all the time. So it's not really a major divergence from what I do. I teach AI, I teach teamwork, Scrum, I coach teams. I hope people make it to the next level. It's all part of the same picture. With that, I want to wish you the best. Again, take care, everyone, and have an awesome day. Take care. Bye, Bubbles. Bye, Bubs. See ya.